Jasmine, yes.
You know, a lot of times people go out there. I remember the first 20 houses I did, I had no cash flow for like 10 years. Now, eventually in 10 years, I had lots of equity, and that was not a bad thing, but it wasn't enough for me to quit working. So occasionally you run across something that's the right time in the right place. Was any of y'all on the webinar last night? Okay, we've talked a lot about that, and if you heard Gene, he said something, and I didn't talk about it because it's kind of hard reading the chat. You know, Gene, I didn't want to run out of questions for Gene, so I wanted to read the chats, but I also have my own questions, but a lot of times people don't want to know what I want to know. So like, it's easy for him, and he was having a good time, and I was just sweating bullets, just wondering like, what happens if I run out of questions? So, but I never ran out of questions. But he did say something that I wanted to ask about, and you said one and done. And when you do the math, and you have $10,000 a month cash flow, right? Then that you can take it easy after that. Because I think the number one goal for every investor is to figure out how to replace his working income. If you can figure out how to replace your working income, then you can take a breather. That doesn't mean take off, it just means take a breather. So when I saw Gene's model, and as a baby boomer, and I realized that there's 10,000 of us, I guess a day or every day and a half, ready, turning 65, looking for retirement, looking for a way out. Well, the people who are 70 and 75, they also have to have a place to go and someplace safe, and they need somebody to take care of them. Well, when you involve real estate, in fact, Gene, you know what I was thinking of? Is that a lot of times we buy houses from old people. That money's turned around and is paid for their assisted living. That's right. So this is almost like I'm buying a house for my customer, and then they're giving me the money back in the form of assisted living. Right. That's just kind of sexy to me. But y'all,
And one day, you will.
That's right. Yeah, did y'all see them fighting over me and Michael Blacks on there? That was a bunch of crap. I mean, that's like they're saying I'm old or something. So, no, we're not doing that. And then, can you imagine being in an assisted living home with that Landon's running? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not for me. No. You would want to get even. And anyway, Gene's the real deal. Gene's doing it. He's been around, and there's something that when I was on tech support, I worked in a company for 9 years. In 6 months of tech support, I learned more in 6 months than I learned from being on tech support in 9 years. Because all I worked on was interesting problems. I worked on other people's problems. When Gene did his assisted livings and then became the national tech support guy for residential assisted living, just look at what he's learned and the lessons he learned and the shortcuts he can save us. So I was real excited when me and Landon cornered him, and I don't know if he was drinking or whatever, but he agreed to come out and talk to us, and thank you so much for doing that, Gene. I appreciate it. So y'all, let's give him a loud applause. Thank you.
For those of you that are on the webinar, no, I did not win at poker last night, right? That was a question that came up. I don't win, I'm a donator at the poker game. So I appreciate you coming out here tonight. I know there's lots of other things you could be doing, but I'm just kind of curious. I want to see if you're in the right room, if you're listening, if you're here for the right reason. Show of hands, how many of you in this room are getting older or know somebody who is? Raise your hand. Now, if you didn't raise your hand, something's wrong, okay? Good. By the way, if there's anybody else outside in that room there, if they want to come in now and then close the door. They're out. They missed the opportunity. So I'm going to share with you for about an hour or so. We get the Q&A after the fact, so that way you've got an opportunity to ask questions. I'm going to be coming back, actually, tonight. I'm going to be here with you. Then I go to San Antonio for a couple of days to share with them. And then I'm going to come back here on Saturday to do a 4 or 5 hour training with you on Saturday. So how many of you have already pre-registered for that Saturday training? So I know. 1, 2, 3, 7, good. A number of you have. If you haven't, do get registered for that. It is this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ray will tell us exactly the where and the how and all of that because he knows those details, I don't. But I'm going to come back and share with you for about 4 or 5 hours. Tonight is not a full-blown training. Tonight is enough to give you information about what this industry is, why you would be interested in it, and how you can get involved in it. So I'm going to give you kind of an overview, and on Saturday I'll share a lot more with you for 4 or 5 hours. Does that sound good? That was weak. Does that sound good? Good. You don't have to jump up and down. It's okay. It's really warm in here, by the way, so if you want to take off, I was going to say take off clothes. I didn't mean that. Take off your jacket or anything like that. You're welcome to it and so on. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, so this is very, very warm for me. It's not cold, it's warm. But here we go. So as I give you this information, I know you're going to have questions, and feel free to write those questions down. But when we say residential assisted living, I actually have a family of companies called the AL family, Assisted Living Family. There's the education side where we teach you how to do it. That's what I'm here to talk to you about tonight, so you can do this yourself. And then there's the investment side, family legacy homes. If you want to invest in these homes, somebody else does it, you invest in it. And then we have a whole network for podcasts and TV and so on called the Assisted Living Network. So it's a family of companies, and again, I'm here to talk about the Residential Assisted Living Academy. In front of you, most of you have a handout. How many of you got that handout? How many of you did not get the handout? You're wondering what the heck I'm talking about? Okay. So for those of you who did not, is there anybody here who can help me pass these out? There we go. Thank you very much. Raise your hand if you don't. He's got some there, and I've got some here. We'll make sure you, thank you so much. I do want to make sure you have that because that'll give you a little bit more information and so on. But Saturday, when Ray comes back in, we'll make sure that he tells you exactly the where, the when, the how about Saturday. I want you to come out for that. Thank you so much. So when I first heard about this, it was about 20 years ago, when I first heard about assisted living. And in Texas, by the way, it's called something different. I'll get very specific here tonight. But when I first heard about it, it was about 20 years ago. It was a huge room. There were hundreds of people. There was a guy in the front of the room, and he said, hey, there's a lot of things you can do. One of the best things you can possibly do is work with seniors, the baby boomers specifically. Now, how many of you in this room are a baby boomer? Now, some of you are admitting it. That's okay. We're in between 46 and 64. I'm a baby boomer. Some of you are on the front end. Some of you are behind that. But anybody born between 1946 and 64 is considered a baby boomer. Now, you and I, we're not in assisted living, but our parents are, our grandparents are, but someday we just might. When I ask the question, how many of you are getting older or know somebody who is, that's all of us. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a guarantee. I guarantee that everybody in this room is going to get involved in assisted living one way or the other. You're either going to own the real estate, operate the business, or you or a loved one's going to be in one of those homes writing a check to somebody who does. Tonight, you have a choice. How do I get involved? Unfortunately, a lot of people, by the time they come to us in one of our assisted living homes, they don't have that choice. Mom needs help right now. She needs to move into a place in the morning. They're going to pay $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month to take care of mom for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And some are thinking, how in the world do people pay that? How do they come up with the money? Where does the money come from? No, the state and the federal government does not pay for it. There's Medicare, there's Medicaid for some people, but for the ones that we work with, it's private pay. So it's that individual's assets. When Ray was saying he buys homes from people who are older, and now he's thinking in his mind, but he's absolutely right, hey, I can get that money right back because they're going to move into the home and so on. Yeah, there's a real estate play, and we'll talk about that. There's a business play, and we'll talk about that. But there's a heart play. I'm 57 years old, and when I first got started in real estate, I was 18. 18 years old, you only have a few things on your mind. I was a musician, so music was one, and girls were the other, okay? So, when I was 18 years old, bought my first house, it was because I was a musician. We had a music school, a recording studio, we were out playing professionally. But I didn't have enough ability to go out and play, so we had to create our own place, and that's exactly what we did. And we taught music, we had the recording studio, recorded our own things and other people's things. But it was about 2 years where we had a terrible landlord, and the house we were renting was even worse. And at the end of 2 years, we walked out on the front porch and we said, that's it. We're either going to shut this whole thing down, or we've got to move to another location. So at that point, as we were looking down the street, I didn't see anything there. And then I looked up the street here, and I saw a for sale sign in the front yard. Walked down the street 2 doors away, just 2 doors away. Took the for sale sign, pulled it out, and walked back home with it. At that point, we got on the phone, and we called the real estate agent. Now, how many of you know what I'm doing right here? See, now, good. Some of you, now I know how old you are. Now you know how old I am. Some are saying, what in the world's he doing? So we called the real estate agent, found out the agent was also the owner, so it was an owner agent. So we called, asked, said, hey, we saw the sign, matter of fact, we have it right here with us. And you answer some questions. He said, why don't you come on into the office and I'll give you the keys. You can take a walk through the property and you make a list and tell me what the property needs. So we did. We went in, gave him the sign, he chewed us out. That's a whole other story. He gave us the keys, we walked through the property, made a list 3 pages long of all the things it needed. New hot water heater, paint this, change that, the roof is this, and so on. He looked at the list, there was dozens of items on there. And he took this one and said, nope, never gonna do that. This one, nope, not gonna do that. Crossed off 3 things out of dozens of things. And then he said, I'll do all the rest. We're looking at him saying, wow. He said, so how are you gonna pay for it? And then we said, well, how much is it? He said, $28,500. Now today, that doesn't sound like a lot. When you're 18, and this is 1979, so the music starts to play in your background. What year is that, right? Long time ago. It's like, he may as well have said $1 million, because I didn't have it. And then I said, well, how do people buy houses? And that was the beginning of our real estate career. So you're really fortunate. You can come here, Ray, Landon, the whole group puts together this event. You can come and participate and learn from others who have done it before. I didn't have that. So at that point, he said, well, they go to the bank and borrow money. So we went to the bank to borrow money. Walked in, my brother had a 65 Mustang, walked through the front door, he probably had last night's concert t-shirt on. And I remember talking to the banker briefly, and in a short period of time, he said, you know what, this is not gonna happen, so why don't you go to the next bank? So we went to the next bank, same thing, not gonna do it. By the time we got to the 3rd bank, the banker was coming out the front door to greet us at the car. We didn't even have to get out. He's like, let me save you the time. I'm not going to lend you the money. That was the beginning of the real estate career. See, it's really interesting. I was listening to Chris, and is Chris here in this room? He was just a moment ago. I want to get his card. When he was talking about 5.75%, how many of you remember hearing him say that for a 30-year loan? Do you remember hearing him say that over there tonight? When I was first buying real estate, prime rate hit 21.5%. A home mortgage, a homeowner, not a rental property investor, was 16%. So you don't even realize how easy it is today to do this. Now, when I was doing it there, how do we do this? Well, I was fortunate that there was one person that we knew. My father was a college professor, my mother was a nurse, we had 7 kids in the family. Mom was busy taking care of the kids, Dad was teaching college. I didn't have any other role models, but there was one guy who had his own company. His name was Pete Malliot. He installed swimming pools. We went to Pete and said, Pete, do you know anything about buying real estate? And he said, let me help you out. And he put his arm around us. He was our mentor. And he walked us through and he said, well, here's what you do. And he walked us through how to do private lending and borrowing and how to buy the property with no money down, and we did. We didn't have a choice because we didn't have any money. We didn't have credit. I didn't even know what credit was. If you never borrow, you didn't even have a credit score. So that's how I got started. That was a long, long time ago. Then I went to fix and flip, buy and hold businesses and so on. But the reality is, I realize everybody in this room has something they really, really want. And you're here tonight for some reason. It's not for the chicken and the pizza and the cookies. It's something. And it probably has something to do with finances, at least in your mind, that's what you think it is. But I really don't think it's the money. Because I want you to think about this for a second. If you had $1 million sitting in the bank, what would you really want to do? That's a different mindset. Money in the bank, what do I really want to do? Now if you think, well, I'm just going to go buy a bunch of stuff, well fine, then the money's gone and there's nothing coming back in. The reality is you're going to do something, and you're going to get good at something. The question is what? And the reality is you got to figure out why. Why are you doing it? Now on the screen here you see a picture, and a lot of those people in the picture, they're, matter of fact, as I look at that, it's all family. That's my daughter Isabel on the left. She was a flight attendant. She had a double major at school. She went to work for Disney. She was a flight attendant as well, and then she came to work for me. She came to work, and now she is the COO of the company. She's the COO. We've got my son there on the left, Emmanuel, right there with his wife, and over on the right is my son-in-law, Garrett, and my other daughter works for me, and it's just fantastic. It's all family. But when I first got started in residential assisted living, it was just me. It was me, and now there's 20 of us in support of what we do, helping thousands of people all over the country. So again, when I was in that room, hundreds of people in that room, a guy in the front said, hey, assisted living. And I ran up to him when he was done speaking, and I said, tell me more. And he said, well, I can't. And I said, why not? He said, well, I don't actually do this, I'm just telling you, you should do it. How many of you have ever had that experience? Where you see the TV guru and they're not actually even doing something. It's real easy for them to say, go out and buy something cash when they make $20 million a year. But you're saying, well, how do I get started and why do I do it? Now at that point when I said, tell me more, he said, I can't. I said, can you at least show me? Tell me about somebody, one person who's doing this now, this residential assisted living. And he said, yeah. And he introduced me to somebody and I went to him and I said, can you tell me more? And he said, well, I can, but I won't. So why not? He said, because I don't want you to know all my secrets. Have you ever met somebody like that who's not willing to share? And I said, well, that's not very nice. And he said, well, yeah, well, I don't want you to take all the business. I'm like, there's millions of people who need this. And you've got your handful of homes and you're not willing to share with me. And the other people that I found that had the homes who were willing to share didn't know how to teach and share it with me so I could do it too. There wasn't a step-by-step. It was this is hard, this is easy, and so on. I needed step-by-step. How many of you can relate to what I'm saying? So at that point, my interest kind of went down. Life goes on. And it wasn't until my mom needed help. When mom needed help, that's when things changed. It wasn't just the money anymore, it was mom. And when I say mom needed help, she was in her 80s, she was starting to get forgetful, she was by herself, dad was gone. The kids are stopping in to see her, but things were changing and she started to need help. And when we went to look for where can we bring mom, who can take care of her, the choices were sad, and the choices were scary, and it wasn't comfortable, and it was like, this is not right. And I vowed to create a home that I'd be proud to have my own mother live in. And that's where this whole thing started. And as soon as I did, other people were asking me, can you show me how? And I said, yes, because I have an abundance mentality. I want to help you, and I want to help you. I want to help all of you so you can be better, so you can go bigger, better, because there's so many people that need help, and you can make a lot of money doing it. Our motto in the company, one of them is, do good and do well. Do well means make a lot of money. How many of you would like to make a lot of money? Do good means you're helping other people. How many of you would like to help a lot of other people? How many of you like the idea of doing them both? Good. Because the reality is, you're not going to be here forever. And someday you're going to go away. So what's left behind? Who did you affect? What did you leave behind? What did you change? Was it positive? Was it negative? That legacy. We're at the beginning of the year. I'm starting with this right here, guys, because it's January, first meeting of the year, beginning of the year. You have a new start. You cannot change the past. You cannot go backwards. You can only go forwards. Does that make sense? So forget about the past. Everything is new, and you can go forward and do anything you want to do. But I want to challenge you. You're here tonight for a reason, and you think that it's money. You're saying, I want to buy a house, flip a house, make 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever it may be. Those of you who have done that before, you understand. It is fun to find something you can shine up, paint, sell to the next one, make a bunch of money, but then it's over. You're unemployed. You got to go find the next one. And it gets harder and harder to find another property to buy because more and more people come into the market. The higher the market goes, the faster they come in. You all know that as well as I do. I've been doing this for a long, long time. So then we go to buy and hold. And somebody here earlier said, how many of you want to buy and hold? And a lot of you raised your hand, and good. What do we like about buy and hold? It's consistent, steady income. But if you buy a house and rent it out and you make $100 a month, when I was 18, that excited me. When I'm 57, that doesn't pay for a round of golf. That's not enough. We got to make significant residual income. So now the question is this, how much? How much do you need? What is that number for you? And I'm going to challenge you right now. Everybody pull out a pen and a pad right now. And I want you to write this down. Physically write it down. It makes a difference when you write something down. And write down the number, the dollar amount that you need to make on a monthly basis. Not annual, not a salary, monthly. Because you and I think monthly. We pay a mortgage, you got a car, you got food, you got kids. How much do you need on a monthly basis to pay all of your bills? To pay all of your bills. Write down that number, and then add a few $1,000s on top of it. So whatever that number is, add a few $1,000s on top of it, that's your number. Your goal this year, 2019, not someday, not 30 years from now, today. Today is the day, this year is the year. This year, if you could get that amount of money flowing into your bank account on a monthly basis, and you didn't have to leave the house, you didn't have to go work 40 hours, 60, 80, 90 hours a week, how many of you feel pretty good about 2019? That can be your reality. When Ray said one and done, I just recorded a video on that exact topic. One and done. When somebody said that to me, I said, what do you mean? They said, find something you can do just once, get paid again and again and again, and you're done. And I'm here to tell you tonight, residential assisted living can be that for you. It can be exactly that for you. And you don't have to stop at one. You can do two, you can do three, you can do 303. It doesn't matter. I was talking to somebody earlier tonight, they already have a vision. Their vision is, I want to do this and pull it all together. Chris, you're the one. And I say, good. That's exactly right. I've got some students their goal is to have one home. That's it. I want 10 grand a month and I'm financially free. Beautiful. And I have others who want 5. And then I have others that want to do thousands and sell it off for hundreds of millions. Fine. One's not better than the other. It's your dream. It's your future, if you want it to be. Now I'm going to start right now before I get into any of these slides right here. This is not easy. Simple, but not easy. I bet you never had a speaker come up and tell you that before, did they? They always say, oh, fix and flip is easy, wholesale is easy, just sign the contract and the other guy makes 7 grand and walk away for the lunch. No, it's going to take some effort. But can you imagine putting in some effort this year, doing one of these deals, and being financially free for life? Good. And I challenge you to do that. Because I'm old enough to realize if it's good, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some effort. But if it's worth doing, oh man, is it fun. You know, Ray asked me on the webinar last night, will you share what your goals are for the year? And I said I would. He didn't ask me, so I won't do it tonight. I'll do that on Saturday. But we have some massive goals. It's incredible, and they're all going to be fulfilled. Absolutely. So our company itself has grown. We've got 20 people, and my wife, we've been married for 33 years now. I met her when I was 16. She was 15. We dated for about 6 months, then we broke up. By the way, she has a completely different story if you ever ask her. It's the real one. So we reconnected about 7 years later, got married. Now we've got 4 incredible kids, 2 grandkids. That's a little bit about me personally. But this question right here is what you need to answer for yourself. Why? Why are you doing this? For me, it's all about the family. Some of you, you may be at the point where it really is about the money. I just want to make a boatload of money. I want to have millions of dollars in the bank. Some of you, though, it's different. It's like, hey, mom needs help, and I can't afford 6 grand a month. And if I create my own home, she could live in the master bedroom for free, and I'm charging everybody else 6 grand. So I'm making money, mom's taking care of it, it all works out for us. Or maybe you're like Ray, you're getting older. No, I'm kidding, but when Ray was up here joking, and some of you later were joking about that on the webinar last night, saying, hey, Ray, you can move into my home. Think about that. I have people who move into our homes, and the kids who are 50, 60 years old are sweating it out. How can I come up with 6 grand a month? So they're liquidating mom's house, mom's assets, all of the income that comes in addition to their kids' college fund, their retirement account, their income, because they love mom, they love dad, they're going to take care of them. But most people are not prepared for that at all. So they come in, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars liquidating that estate, and then they end up going back to the state at that point, saying to the state, we're broke, we have the money, will you give us up? The state will give them a couple $1,000s a month, and now they have to go find a home that's willing to accept a couple $1,000s a month. And I'm here to tell you, that's not the business I'm going to suggest you do. It's really hard to do this if you have 10 people paying you $2,000 a month. You can't pay the caregivers well, you can't provide a great house or great food. Our homes are not low end, they're high end. People don't pay $2,000, they pay $4,000, $6,000, and $8,000. And there's people right in your own backyard. Maybe they're not in your club and what you do, but they're right in your own backyard, and that's exactly what they're paying right now. So there it is. Why residential assisted living? Why you and why now? Those are the 3 questions for you to answer for yourself tonight. So this right here, I'm just going to list this. We do trainings, a 3-day training. People come in from all over the country for the training. And at the end of it, there was a gentleman, his name was Michael, and his wife Nancy. He said, you know what, Gene, this just checks all of my boxes. And so, what do you mean by that, Michael? And then he listed all those things. He said, it's rewarding, it's meaningful, I don't have to work 80 hours a week, I can do it if I want, where I want, when I want, I've got time and financial freedom, it's meaningful, and financial security in a downturn. We just went through the Great Recession. Guess what one asset class kept going up during all that time? Assisted living. Seniors. That's where it is, that's where it's going. Wayne Gretzky, the great one in hockey. I'm not a huge hockey fan, I do enjoy it, but Wayne Gretzky, the great one in hockey, when he's asked, why are you so good? He said, it's simple. I go to where the puck is going, not where it's been. Where it's been is short sales, foreclosures, all of that. Where it's going, seniors. 1946, 1945, World War ended. Servicemen came home, got busy. Population explosion. Baby boom generation was born. When you look at a chart, it is literally a spike. It's a wall. It's a silver tsunami of seniors that's coming. The front end of the baby boomers is 72 years old. They're not in assisted living, but their parents are or were, but they're coming. They're 10 years out, 10 years out. And then when you look at the chart, not only is it a spike, but then it just continues to grow. We've got a huge opportunity, and your timing is perfect for those of us that are in or get in right now. So a little background on me. I bought my first real estate at 18, first commercial at 25, 22 businesses in the last 41 years. I've done a lot of things, but I've never had a 9-to-5 job. The only job I ever had was as a youth minister. And that was funny because we were doing it for free. My brother and I were volunteering, did it for years and years and years. And then the church said, we're going to hire someone to be a youth minister. And we said, hallelujah, that's awesome. And they searched for 6 months, couldn't find anybody, and they came back to us and said, can we just hire you and pay you to do what you're doing for free? That's it. That's the only time I've ever had a paycheck that came in. I've never worked for somebody else in a 9-to-5 job. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't worked hard. I pull all-nighters. Matter of fact, I even do it this time, meaning when I'm in my 50s doing all-nighters once in a while. I usually make it to about 4 o'clock, then I'll go to sleep for a few hours. But I've done that for sure. Are we missing something? What do you need? A USB, I think Ray has it, unless it's that one. There you go. I trained over 300,000 people worldwide. I've mentored thousands and thousands, written books, hosted radio shows. The most recent radio show is called Second Wind Success, helping baby boomers discover their second wind in business and in life. You know, a lot of times you don't figure it out in your first job or your third job. Sometimes it's the 10th one and you finally hit it. For me, I was in my 50s and it was in residential assisted living. That's it, that's all I do. In addition to that, we've written books. This is the latest book right here, Investing in Senior Housing. How many of you would like to get a copy of that book? Good. Who would like this copy of this book?
I like it right here, right here, right here.
Who would like this copy of this book?
I like it right here. I like it right here. Oh, that's
Wow.
Sometimes you just gotta take what you want. You know? And then, I'll get you a copy though, because I appreciate that. So,
Okay.
give me a round of applause, give me a round of applause. You can go on Amazon and buy it if you want, or just go in there and get for 99 cents. I put it down to 99 cents for the Kindle version if you just want to listen to it, Amazon.com. #1 bestseller there, but married for 33 years, 4 kids, 2 grandkids. That's a little bit about me personally. My why, it's all about the family. So this is a picture of the family. This is not this year's Christmas card, but last year's Christmas card. It's the last time we could fit out the Brady Bunch format. But now with the new grandson, we can't quite do that because now there's 10 of us instead of 9 of us. So the family's growing and that's what it's all about. This picture is a picture of my daughter Victoria, my oldest. She's 31 years old right now. And then her daughter when she was less than 1 year old. And my mom. It's the only picture of my mother, my daughter, my granddaughter. My mother's great-granddaughter together. It's the only one. It was about 6 months before Mom passed away. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm sorry your mom passed away. I'm sorry you lost your mom. I didn't lose her. I know exactly where she is. So if you want to have that conversation, we certainly can. But when Mom got to that point, you see her in that chair, she's got that white belt on, and kind of help her sit up and help somebody help her up and so on. When she started to need help, that's when all of this became very real. We love Mom. Love Dad, we're going to take care of them. We're going to do whatever it takes. So we vow to create that solution. Now this is a picture, we were just visiting my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, they live in Florida, that's where all people from east of the Mississippi are required to report when you turn 65, you have to move to Florida, so they reported there dutifully, they've been there. He's not doing as well, he looks great right there, he really, really does, but he's ready for assisted living. My mother-in-law, she's there taking care of him, but I told him, you are welcome to move into any one of our homes for free, anytime, for as long as you need, as long as you want. How many of you would love to be able to offer that to your family? Yeah. You can. Some of you are saying, that's what I need, but that may be the one reason why you do this. Or on the other hand, someday we're all going to age and we're going to need some help. And instead of leaving that burden to the kids paying $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 a month, wouldn't it be better to just be able to move into the master bedroom, live for free, and have the kids receive the income from the business that you created, that legacy for? Imagine that. Let's provide for them, not take from them. So our motto, do good, do well, is important to start with because we'll talk about the money and you can make a lot. Richard Branson, you've all heard his name before. If you aren't making a difference in other people's lives, you shouldn't be in business. It's that simple. 300 companies, he doesn't have one single office. 300 companies doesn't have one single office. There's some wisdom there. He's got a secret. I'll share that with you on Saturday as well. By the way, Ray, you just came in the room. I want to make sure, Saturday, 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Where is it at? They want to know.
It's, give them that.
It's the Hampton Inn on Katy.
No, it's Transact Title. Transact
Yes,
Title.
How do they sign up to come?
Landed.
Oh, it's at Transact Title.
Transact Title, 6117 Richmond Avenue.
Do they have to pre-register to come? How do they sign up to come? How do we know if they're coming?
We have sign up back here.
Okay,
We'll give you
good.
the address when you sign up.
Is it free or does it cost money?
It's $49 for one, $59 for two.
Got it. And is that discounted tonight and then it's higher at the door?
Yeah, it's $99 at the door.
All right. So you just heard, 49, 69 for two. Sign up tonight, make sure to come. It's on Saturday because that's the only time I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so Saturday, 9 to 2. I'm only here once and this is it. Beginning of the year, let's start it right. They sign up for that here tonight in this room, so you got it.
18, it says 9 to 2/3.
Yeah, it says 92/3. In other words, I'm going to go until 2 o'clock, then I'm going to hang around until 3 o'clock answering questions to whatever it is you need.
Great.
So that's why it says 2/3.
Gotcha.
All right, so 2/3. So on Saturday, what I'm going to be sharing with you in depth is the 3 best ways to get started in this residential assisted living. The 5 keys to success in the best and the worst locations in doing it. Sometimes it's more important to know what not to do than it is to know what to do. And sometimes it's most important to know where to do it versus not do it. So we'll talk about all of that on Saturday. That's what it's all about. That's what we're going to do. So what's this called in Texas? See, in Texas, everything is bigger. You've all heard that before, but it's true. In Texas, you can actually have up to 16 people in a single family home when you're doing this assisted living in a single family home. Now, when I say up to 16 people, that's the city of Texas, that is the state of Texas. Each city is a little different. And inside the city limits may say 8, just outside may say 16. But 16 is huge. My state, Arizona, it's 10. Other states, it might be 6. Yours is 16. Everything is bigger in Texas. Now, in Texas, that's called a small facility, 16 or less. 17 or more is called a large facility. So, small facility, 16 or less, type B. Type B, there's A, B, C, and E. Now, I don't know why this gets deep, but B. B means they need assistance, help to get out if there's a fire or an emergency or something like that. So that's what it's called. We'll go through all the details, rules, and regulations on Saturday. So what is this? I've mentioned this, I've said this a bunch of times, residential assisted living, but what is it really? What is it defined as? It's a group residence for seniors, providing assistance with their activities of daily living. So if somebody ever says ADL, activity of daily living, I want you to just think about when you hit the snooze alarm in the morning. Everything you do after that is an ADL. Getting dressed, bathing, eating, cleaning clothes, housekeeping, medication management. Nobody moves into assisted living unless they need help with something, right? They're there because they need help. It's not because it's a country club. That's independent living. Assisted living means they need assistance. Now, when I say senior housing assisted living, this is what most people think about. A big institution. You can smell the neglect as soon as you walk through the front door. It's not what we do. That's not it. And it's not this. The show from the 80s, The Golden Girls, four mature women living together, taking care of each other. It's not that. It's right in between. It is a private home in a residential setting. There are seniors living there, but they're not taking care of themselves. There's caregivers that come in to take care of them, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So 24-hour care, not doctors and nurses and gurneys, caregivers. The caregivers have specific training to take care of those seniors. So the caregivers take care of the seniors on a 24-hour basis in a residential home, residential assisted living. Now the three pictures you saw are my homes in Arizona. When I first got started, I told you how I heard about all this. When I first got started 6 years ago, I bought an existing home, an existing business. So I bought the real estate and the business combined, and I did it with no money down. How many of you have heard of the idea of buying a real estate transaction, no money down? I just told you about my first experience when I was 18. I bought the real estate and the business with no money down. How many of you would like to learn how to do that? I'll share that on Saturday as well. So in the home, it's a little bit different. The tenants, and that's the only time you'll hear me use that word, the tenants are not tenants. They're not renting a room. We're providing a service to them. They're residents. So the residents in the home are a little different. Instead of a mom, a dad, 2 kids, and a dog, it's a group of seniors. Now as you look at this group of seniors, you'll notice there's a lot of women and a few men. Why is that? That's right, they're killing us off. That's right. It's a joke, like, women do live statistically, they live longer than men. So a lot of times what happens is, there's a husband and wife, they have kids, the kids grow up, they move away, mom and dad are at home alone, one of them passes away. The other one is left there, the kids come and visit on holidays, they come and see, and then when they come home at some point, they go, wow, mom is not doing well. You know, things are starting to pile up, things are getting a little bit cluttered. I see there's a coffee pot on the stove, and it's actually made out of plastic, and it's been there since Friday afternoon, and it's Sunday morning. This is not good. And at some point, people say, wow, she may need help, and then one night she falls. And she falls, she calls 911 or help, I fall and I can't get up. They go to the hospital, and the doctor says, okay. The kids all gather around, who's going to take care of mom? They're like, well, what do you mean, who's going to take care of mom? Well, if she goes home by herself, living alone, she can fall again. Who's going to take care of mom? And all the sons look at each other and go, well, I don't know. What are you going to quit your job? You're going to do yours? What about your kids? What about this and that? And all of a sudden, this incident has now created this situation. Now imagine if you already had your own home, where it's like, yeah, mom just moves right into the home. Just like Les, my father-in-law, you're welcome to move right in, free. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, most people don't have a home like that. You certainly can. This year, you could solve that entire problem. That situation in the future would never occur. But most people don't have that situation even discussed, let alone solved. So at that point, people start to ask questions, what do I do? Well, you could hire somebody to come into the home. That's $22 an hour, national average. $22 an hour to have somebody come in. Have you ever seen the commercials? I saw one here tonight, Visiting Angels, where they come to the house, a caregiver, $22 an hour is the average nationally. That's it. It might be higher or lower. You're at $22. That doesn't mean they're getting paid $22. They may be getting paid $10 or $12. The company charges $22 because they need to make profit and cover their overhead. So $22, okay, well 8 hours a day, $160 a day, that's $4,500 a month, that's a lot. Maybe we should just move mom into a home. And as soon as you start it, you feel guilty. I'm not going to do that, that'd be bad. Mom told me I should never do that. But then it's either give up the job, or I take care of mom myself, or I hire somebody to come in, or bring mom where she can get 24-hour care. And that's the situation. Nobody moves into assisted living unless they have the need for help. And it's usually driven by an incident. Something happens, they fell, there's an illness, there's something there. But it's not medical. See, it's not like TV where everybody ends up in a hospital, flatlining in a hospital bed. That's not the way life is. People just live out the rest of their years. Some will live at home for their entire life. 100, 105, and that's all good, but many people do need assistance. So there it is, that's what it looks like, and it's a home, not a hospital. That's why I put this picture up on the screen. They can have a beverage. They can have a party. They're in bed by 7:15, so it's okay. It's on duels, lighten up, okay? But if they actually want a beverage, they can, as long as they have a note from the doctor, they can have an actual beverage, and it's all good. But they're there in the home, the kids who are 50, 60 come over and watch football on a Sunday, or come after work and visit. But then they go home to their family in their home. The residents stay in that home, and they're taken care of 24/7. So there's two profit centers. The first one is real estate, and the second one is business. Right now we're in this room, and by the way, Ray, you did an excellent job making it cooler in here. But now it's a little too cool, I don't know, just saying. Excellent job, but there we go. So the idea of real estate, right now we're sitting in a building, I believe this is connected with a hotel business-wise, but I guarantee if somebody owns the dirt, they're leasing it to the company that owns this building. And then the building leases it to a company that operates the hotel. So there's three people that are making money, and you're just sitting here right now in this room. So when we talk about business and real estate, I know we're here at a real estate investment club, that's what we talk about, that's what we do. But the ones who really is making the money is the business, the cash flow. Because would you agree that real estate goes up and down in value? Over the course of 100 years, it's definitely gone up. But it didn't go up in a straight line, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. The dirt will be worth more 100 years from now than it is today. I guarantee it. The building itself will probably be knocked down and replaced within 100 years from now. But the income that's generated, that's what we're going to talk about here tonight. The real estate, yep, we can do that, we will talk about that, but it's the business. When I talk about making $10,000 a month in income, $10,000 a month, it's not just buying a house and renting it out. It's operating this business of residential assisted living. By the way, I said 10,000, I'm just curious. All of you wrote down a number, how much you need on a monthly basis to pay all your bills, and then I said add a couple $1,000s onto it. How many of you could squeeze by on $10,000 a month? How many of you need more than that? Good. I'll show you both how to do it. Here we go. 3 ways to participate. 1, the real estate. Own the real estate, lease it to the operator. Some of you are saying by the time we're done, hey, all I want to do is own the real estate, lease it to an operator. Fine, you can do that. It's a wonderful way to make money in this industry. You own the real estate, lease it to the operator of that business. But there's a couple of things you need to know. Number 1, you can charge anything you want. When I say up to twice the market rent, why do you charge $1,500 to rent a house as opposed to $1,200? Because you decided that's what you were willing to accept. They decided that's what they were willing to pay. Could you charge $2,000 for the same house?
Yes.
What's stopping you from doing that?
Market.
He said the market. But if somebody was willing to pay it, would you be willing to accept it?
Of course.
I know it makes sense. You're like, of course I would. But it's really interesting to me because what I'm about to share with you, I always get somebody who comes up and says, you know, I have a house that I'm renting right now to somebody who's operating as an assisted living home, and I didn't know I could charge them a higher rent. Like, you can charge anything you want. I actually have people who even comment to me on, we do all kinds of stuff all over the country and so on. They come and they say, nobody's going to pay twice the market rent. And I'm like, oh, let me explain why. Because they're going to make $10,000 a month in profit even after paying you double the market rent. Your next thought is, well, Gene, I'm a real estate investor. Why would somebody pay me twice the market rent? They could go buy their own house. Here's the thing, and most of you don't realize this. Every single business you go into, very few of them own the real estate. Somebody else owns the real estate. Like Holiday Inn, they don't own the real estate. They're leasing it from the company that does. The company who owns the building doesn't even own the dirt. They lease it from somebody who does. So most businesses that you see and operate, they're just paying rent. So why do they pay $1,000 per square foot in some areas and only $50 a square foot in others for store rent? Because they decided. Somebody offered it, somebody accepted it. So when I say twice the market rent, how many of you would like to receive twice the market rent for the same home? Now there's one more piece though. That tenant's going to want a long-term lease, like 5 years. They're not going to want a 1-year lease. Because that means they got their business started, they're making 10 grand a month, and you can kick them out and say, forget it, I want you to go away. They want a 5-year lease. How many of you would be okay with leasing it for twice the market rent with a 5-year lease? Yeah. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's really actually the perfect client. because you can actually have them take care of the maintenance. Small maintenance, you take care of it. Big maintenance, home warranty, call the 800 number. You pay the $80 deductible, you take care of it. And they're going to want to have 5-year renewals. So the ability to continue that renewal or the option to buy. That's what I teach my students to do. If you're going to lease, 5-year lease, options to renew, and the option to buy. Last one, it gives you significant residual income. And that's what it's all about. Whatever number you wrote, why wait to have 100 homes when you can do it with just one? When I first got started in real estate, making $100 a month seemed exciting. Today, it would take you 100 homes to make your 10 grand a month. Now I can do it with just one single home. One single home. So there it is, number 2. Own the real estate and operate the business. That's what I do. It's what I teach my students to do. Own the real estate and operate the business. Best of both worlds. We have one entity that owns the real estate, another entity that operates the business. This entity leases the real estate from this one. So we can pay ourselves any rent we want. I'm curious, I want to see where you're at. What should I charge myself, high rent or low rent?
Hi.
I heard both answers. If I charge myself low rent, well, I may not be able to pay the mortgage. It's good profit over here, but I got to pay taxes on that profit over here. If I charge myself high rent, I've got deductions, I've got accelerated depreciation, I may not have to pay any taxes at all. Plus, when I go back to the bank and say I've got a lease for $4 grand a month instead of $2 grand a month, they're going to be very comfortable, warm and fuzzy. The debt service ratio coverage, very high. I'm comfortable in lending you more than I would if you just had a $2,000 a month tenant. You got a $4,000 a month tenant. Long term, 5 years. So high is probably the better way to go. You could charge low, but I want to pay less taxes and make more money. How about you? So there's the best of both worlds. $10,000 a month cash flow for life. That's a lot, and I'll show you how we got there. When I say how many of you can get by, I'm guessing most of you can. Those of you who can't, I'll show you how to get past that. Number 3, be a private lender or a private investor, joint venture partner. When I say a private lender, the people that were up here, they're lending money. Matter of fact, it was Chris who said it. He said, hey, 5.75%. What he's done is they've created a fund with other private lenders, put the money in one pot, and say, come to us, fit our criteria, we'll lend it to you. That's what they're doing, private lenders. Private lender or investor. Some of you just want to write a check so you can receive checks coming in every month or every quarter. Perfectly fine. I can show you how to do that in this industry as well. I just kind of shared with you briefly the 3 ways, the best ways to get involved in senior housing. Saturday we're going to go through it more. When I was asked to go to Harvard and share on this topic, I said, Harvard? I've never even graduated from college. They said, well, come and speak, and I said, absolutely. So I accepted the invitation and I spoke, and it was fun. And when I was there was a gentleman that was there. Maybe you recognize him there, maybe you recognize him here, right? And he was there, and I said, what are you doing here? And by the way, you don't see him on TV much anymore, you just see him on the internet. I don't always make popcorn. But when I do, every girl does. Right? And by the way, in real life, he doesn't drink Dos Equis, he drinks tequila. So Jonathan, when I said, Jonathan, what are you doing here? When I met him there at Harvard, he said, well, I lost my job. So what do you mean I got laid off? So what do you mean you got laid off? You're the world's most interesting man. How do you get laid off from that gig? And he said, well, I'm an actor. He's done over 300 movies, 45 television series. You probably didn't even know that. You just saw him from one thing. Dos Equis, that's it. So I got laid off, and he told me the whole story. It was fascinating. I said, so what are you doing here at Harvard listening to me and others about different businesses and so on? He said, I'm looking for the next thing, what I should do next. And then I asked him the question, what do you think about residential assisted living? And he said, gee, I have to tell you, out of everything I've seen, this is the most interesting thing of all. How many of you have heard of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Literally tens of millions of copies. He has changed lives all over the world. When I first met Robert, he came up to me, pulled out my sleeve and said, hey, you're the assisted living guy. I got some questions for you. And I said, whoa, Robert, Mona's in. You're asking me questions. People want to hear from you. You're asking me. And he went on to share with me about a property that Kim and his wife has, that leasing it out to somebody, the lease is coming up, she's thinking about converting it into assisted living, and what do I think? And I thought that was pretty cool at that point. His whole message is about getting out of the rat race. If you've ever played the game Cash Flow, you know that. If you haven't played, it's a psychological thriller. It's a really cool game because it helps you figure out who you are and why you do what you do. But his whole message is about get out of the rat race. So when I say get out of the rat race, that means you've got enough money coming in to cover that number you wrote down in your pad. So you can now get out of the rat race and do other things. I'm now at the point where I'm thinking about what next business am I going to create? What next thing am I going to invest in? Not struggling with where we're at today. How many of you want to get to that point? You can with just one home this 1 year. It's up to you though. If you really want it, you've got it. Now when I got back with Robert, and by the way, this was just about a month ago, we were in New Orleans. I'm speaking on the same stage as him, and I said, Robert, how's your project coming with the assisted living? You and Kim. And we went through it, he told me all about it. It was pretty cool at that time to catch up with him. So could you get by the $10,000 a month? I asked that question of this gentleman here, Hal. He came to our training, which we do in Arizona. Hal's from Minnesota. So he's Minnesota. He's there in February in Arizona, where it's very warm and toasty and fun. It's a beautiful place to be. And at the end of the training, he said, Gene, this is great, but I'm about to get on a plane, go back to Minnesota. I have a question for you. Do I have to do my home in Minnesota? And I said, well, no, but why do you ask? He said, because I'd rather do it here in Arizona. But can I do this where it's far away? And so let me ask you a question. How much do you need to make? He said, well, if I had $10,000 a month, that's all I need. I said, you can do that with one single home. And then I asked the second question. Do you want to be hands-on or hands-off? You know what I mean when I say hands-on? Like you're there every day, you're watching over, you're baking the cookies, you're changing this. And hands-on or hands-off? I said, hands-off. I said that it would probably be easier for you to do this someplace far away than it is if it's right next door. Because if the house is right next door, you're going to want to go over there and see how it's going. Check it out. Let me see if the light bulbs are plugged in. Let me see if the air filter is not clogged up. Let me see about this and that. Before you know it sucks you in. And how many of you have had that experience? You walk on site, next thing you know, 3-4 hours have passed, you got sucked in doing $10 an hour labor when you should have been someplace else doing something else. So I said, Hal, maybe farther away would be better for you. His first home he bought was in Arizona, and he's in Minnesota. He now has 5 homes, and he no longer lives in Minnesota. He's moved to Arizona, because it's a lot warmer there. This is the first home he bought. Not a big, huge mansion, just a modest home. $330,000 for the real estate and the business combined. The real estate was worth about $180,000. The business was $150,000. Pause. Yes, I'm going to show you how to not only get real estate and make money, but how to create a business out of nothing that you can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. How many go like that? That's exactly what he did. He bought somebody else's business to get started. And now he's got other ones in addition. Do good, do well. But what is it that you really want? You want to be in the right place at the right time. Am I right? It's all about timing in life. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. And you are. You're at the right place at the right time because of the baby boom generation. But none of us are going to escape this. Now, how many of you know who these gentlemen are? These young lads. Right? The Rolling Stones. They're what, coming to town?
Well, that's something.
Next year?
April.
If they live long enough. The Rolling Stones. Now, I'm just curious, a little poll right here. Who's the oldest Rolling Stone?
Charlie Watts.
All right, it's all over the place. Let's find out. Let me change it a little bit. Who's a baby boomer in the band? Let's find out. The youngest Rolling Stone, Ronnie Woods. The replacement guitar player, the only baby boomer in the entire band. The only one. The rest are older. Mick, cover of Life magazine 2 months ago, just turned 75. 75, he still dances like a teenager, right? You got Charlie Watts over here at 77. This guy's going to be 80 years old before we know it, but the oldest is obviously Keith Richards. The guy's been tickled for a generation and there it is. Right place, right time. Second, little or no competition. Little or no competition. I always find it really interesting when I'm in a real estate club. I love there's a section that is done in a lot of real estate clubs. What do you have? What do you need? Right? What do you have? What do you need? So somebody says, well, I have a property, it's for sale, and I need a contractor here. And I love that section because we're all helping each other. But when you really think about it, aren't you competing with each other a little bit? I don't mean that in a bad way. Competition is a good thing. We're all competing with each other a little bit for sometimes the same deal and so on. So I want you to be honest and raise your hand when you see something on the screen that you've done or you want to do. Something you've done or you want to do. Raise it, raise it, raise it, raise it high. Something you've done or you want to do, keep your hand raised, raised high, and look around, look around, look around. That's your competition. Everybody else is doing the same thing. So let me just change a little bit. Who in this room owns an assisted living home? Just me? So how much competition do I have? None. How many of you even know anybody that does? I knew there'd be some, so I got about 7, 8, 9 people who know somebody who does, but how many of you know anybody who's getting older? So we're all potential customers and clients. You're not doing it, very few people are. You're at the right place at the right time, little competition, and the future. That's what you really want to know, what's going to come in the future. Well, my crystal ball is pretty clear. 77 million baby boomers, an average of, just like Ray said, 10,000 people a day are turning 65. More importantly, 4,000 a day are turning 85 years old. That's 120,000 people a month turning 85 years old. That's 1.4 million people a year turning 85. Right now in the U.S., every home, every Brookdale, every big box facility, all together, it's about 1.4 million beds. There's 1.4 million people turning 85 every single year. Now, not all of them need help in assisted living, but hundreds of thousands of them do. There's a crisis. They need a bed. They need a spot. The good homes are full with a waiting list. They can't even get in. The bad homes are full with a waiting list. They can't get in. That crisis is an opportunity if you choose to take advantage of it. 90% of all seniors would rather stay at home, according to a survey by AARP. 70% are going to need help with their activities and daily living for an average of 3.5 years. So my crystal ball says pretty clearly they're going to need a place to live and somebody to take care of them. That's the opportunity. So now that we laid it all out, and it's not just me, New York Times bestseller Harry S. Dent Jr., page 90 says the opportunity of our lifetimes in real estate development and investing is likely to be nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Now, I'm not here to say, let's all pitch in and do a $50 million project and compete with the big boys, Brookdale, 200-300 beds. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to do a single-family home, the same ones you're buying now, in a nicer area, maybe a bigger home, and do something different with it so you can personally make your 10 grand a month. Not put up a $50 million complex and try to compete with the big money. And by the way, big money isn't necessarily smart money, they're just big money. So they can invest big money and make a smaller return and be happy. If they make 5 or 6% with billions of dollars, they're happy. If I made 5 or 6%, I would not be happy. You see the difference? So we're going to make 20 and 30%. How many of you would be happy with 20 and 30%? And that's if you invest all cash. If you leverage, if you use other people's money, borrow money instead of use your own money, well, now you can make over 100% return. How many of you are even happier? Good. You're catching on. Common questions I get, Gene, can I do this while I'm not in the medical field? Yes. You don't need to be a doctor or a nurse or anything. Well, Gene, can I use a home that I have right now for this? The answer is maybe. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. You see, this isn't the field of dreams. I don't know if you remember that movie. If you build it, they will come. No. It's got to be in the right location. This isn't over the river and through the woods. Go visit grandma. Once a year, that's fine. But going to see her every week or a couple times a week, it's got to be close by. Location is key. We'll talk about that on Saturday. Well, Gene, how much money can I make doing this? Well, we'll get into it, but here we go. This $10,000 a month, how do we get to that number? First, what does it cost to live in an assisted living home? I'm going to give you a website right here. It's called genworth.com/cost of care. GENWORTH. Genworth is an insurance company. They do long-term care insurance. They have lots of surveys and so on. Genworth.com/cost of care. So that's where these numbers come from. In the U.S. right now, the average for an individual in a private room is $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month is the individual price. So let's say you had a home where you had 10 seniors in it. I told you in Texas you can have up to 16. Some areas You can have even more than that. So I'm going to say 10 because it makes the math really easy. 4,000 a month times 10 people is potential gross income of $40,000 a month. Do you all see that? Now that says potential gross income because what happens if a bed is vacant? Do you make money on that vacant bed? No. Just like your rental property is going to be vacant once in a while, you need to calculate that in. So we'll show you all the details on that. But then what are the expenses? What's the overhead? So I'm going to show you a list of expenses and it looks just like your own home budget. If you were to look through and kind of map out what are all of your expenses in life when you talk about everything from movies and activities and taking care of the house, but there's a few things inside there that are different, like caregivers and managers, because that's the taking care of those seniors. So I'm going to give you just two numbers. Saturday we're going to go through the detail on that, but $25,000 and $15,000. The difference between $25,000 and $15,000 is what? 10,000 is the obvious answer. But the bigger difference is doing it yourself or paying others to do it for you. You see, there's about 30,000 of these homes in the United States today, right now. Most of them, 70–80%, are owned by individuals that live in the home. They live in one of the bedrooms and they rent out 3 or 4 other rooms or beds. They collect $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 from those other people, but they live in the home, they're the manager, they're the caregiver, they're the cook, the baker, and the candlestick maker. That's not a job. You don't own a business, it owns you. Yeah. That's not what I suggest you do. We're going to find the right location, we're going to pick the right home, we're going to hire the manager who hires the caregivers who fills the home. Our job is to stand back and manage the manager. 5 to 10 hours a week. People ask me all the time, Gene, how much time do you put into managing the homes? And I say 5 to 10 hours a week. And that's not even the reality because some weeks it may be 30 minutes. My biggest week is payroll. It takes me about 30 minutes to do my part of payroll. That's it. So I just kind of check the work, transfer money from here to here, click done, 30 minutes, done. That's payroll every 2 weeks. Other than that, it's just managing the manager, providing for them what it is that they need. So this right here, I'm going to use the high number, the 25, and that includes vacancies as well. We'll talk about that on Saturday. Debt service or rent, you need to do this inside a building, so what's the debt service or the rent? I'm going to put $5,000. Keep in mind, this is an average home, not a mansion, an average home. Could you buy or rent a pretty nice average home in your area for $5,000 a month or less? Of course you can. I'm being very conservative on that. That gets us to $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year. See, I told you $10,000 a month from one single deal. Most of you could squeeze by on that. But some of you are saying, well, I can't. Well, let's just think a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer. And by the way, when I say a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer, $5,000 a month, just curious, because I want you guys to see this. Show of hands, how many of you in this room have ever had a family member in assisted living before? How many of you know what it costs on a monthly basis? How much?
$6,500.
$6,500?
$16,040.
$16,000 per month or per year? Per month.
But it was full.
It was full care. Yeah, 65, 16,000. Anybody else?
Around 4,800.
4,800. Anybody else?
55.
55. Got it?
7,000 a month.
7,000 a month. So we had 48, I think it was, up to 16,000. If we kind of, those are huge numbers. And some are like, I had no idea. That's reality. In America today, $4,000 a month per person, private room is the average. That includes Medicare and Medicaid. So private pay is what we do. It's $4,000, $6,000, $8,000. Now 16, that's a different thing. They probably needed a significant amount of help. You said full care?
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Full care.
Full care. And when we say full care, there's levels of care, LOC. We'll talk about that on Saturday. But let's just say it's a little bit bigger home, a couple more bedrooms, maybe just 1, 2 people in a room, 5,000 times 12. That's 60,000 potential gross income. Let's increase the expenses from 25 to 28. Why? Hire a chef. White jacket, white hat, cook to order breakfast, cook to order lunch. $100 a day, you got a chef. That's a nice bonus to have. And let's take the debt service of the rent from 5 to 8, so we get a bigger, nicer house. Now your net is 24, $288 a year. That's more than many doctors make, many brain surgeons make, many professional athletes you see running around on TV. We always talk about the millionaires, but there's others that are making a few hundred. $288. How many of you could squeeze by on $24,000 a month? If you couldn't make it on 10, hopefully you can get by on 24. If not, stop doing what you're doing. I'm kind of kidding. What do you got? But imagine having more than one. Now I'm here to tell you, having more than one is easier than having just one. It's kind of like kids. When you have the first kid, they come out, you got a kid, drops the pacifier, and it's like, stop! Code red, boil the pacifier. Second kid comes along, they drop the pacifier, you go, oh, 5 second rule. You pick it up, you wipe it off, put it back in. Third kid comes along, you're like, you dropped it, you pick it up yourself. First one's hard, second one's easier, by the third one you got it down, it's a system. So imagine having not one, but a 3-pack. 3 of these homes in an area within 30 minutes of each other. So when we say 10,000, imagine 10,000 times 3. How many can squeeze by on that? Good. The time is right. We know what's coming in the future. You really can't escape it. How will I participate? Here's the bottom line, guys. You are going to participate one way or the other. You're either going to own the real estate, lease it, and get up to twice the rent, or own the real estate and operate the business, or do nothing. Liquidate your estate and pay somebody else to take care of you, or mom, or grandma. That's the reality of it. The choice is yours. You decide. How do you want to do this? So how fast can I do this, Gene? I mean, how quickly can I do it? Now I'm going to lay this out for you. The slow way, find land, design it, build it. It's going to take you a couple of years to make that happen. Faster, buy an existing house in an existing neighborhood. Buy it, renovate it, get it up and running 6 to 12 months. That's a realistic number. Better than that, buy an existing one. If you know what you're looking for and you buy it right and so on, we'll teach you how. That's a few months' time. Or buy the home and lease it to an operator. You can be cash flowing in a month or 2. Or be that private lender. Lend the money, you're collecting money from day 1, you get paid at the end of the month, so I'll say 30 days. You decide, but one way or the other, you're going to get involved. So why residential assisted living? Why you? Why now? Only you can decide that. I've had the privilege of going all over the country and showing what I do to other people, and then they invite me in to see their homes. So Sean, he's opened up his home, he's on his second one now, and I love it. We've got Scott right here, and his wife and his mother-in-law, and I love that they're all working together as a family as well. Kim and Jeff in Iowa, so students all over the country who are doing big, huge homes. I remember when he came and he said, you know, I've got a big, huge home, I think it's perfect for this, and I said, it is, but it's in the wrong location. So I actually went out to go see it, and it's a perfect home, and the location is the one struggle, but it's a perfect home for it. But it's a beautiful home. Sandra and Michelle are in California. A lot of times people say, oh, California, you can't do business. Oh, yes, you can. They're only having 6 people in their home, but they get $8,000 per resident, $48,000 a month in revenue. Wow. He's an anesthesiologist. He makes more money from this than he does in his business. In addition to that, we've got people that were retired and came back in and said, hey, we know what's coming. We just want to do something. So Dave and Linda, or Larry and Barbara rather, are down into their home, and Jamie and Robert in California, and Utah, Texas. Lo, right here, he's got 5 homes in Texas, in the Dallas area. He's also got a big box project going on in Louisiana and a big box project going on in Dallas. Phenomenal stuff. Rhode Island, Manny and Graham, when they came to the training from Rhode Island, they went back to Rhode Island and they went to the state and said, okay, what are the rules, what are the regulations? And the state said, you can't do this here. So they called us up frantically and said, hey, the state said we can't do this. And well, I got on the phone and I called the state and I said, what do you mean you can't do this? They said, well, nobody has ever done it before. I said, okay, that's different than you can. Let me show you how. So we helped the state, showed them how. Now they own and operate the very first residential assisted living home in the entire state of Rhode Island, and the state is asking them to do more. How many of you would love to have the state asking you to do more instead of crushing your hopes and dreams and saying, don't do anything? That's it. There's a huge need. But knowledge is the key, and tonight we just touched the tip of the iceberg. Saturday we're going to go a lot deeper. Those of you who haven't signed up for that, do that. But I know some of you aren't able to make it on Saturday, and I get that. So I'm going to give you an opportunity here tonight. Who's kind of getting this and can see themselves doing it though? Good. And I've said a number of times, come on Saturday, come on Saturday, come on Saturday. How many of you are now thinking, I really do want to come and learn more on Saturday? Raise your hand high. And how many of you are saying, I wish I could, but I just can't cut it loose. I can't do that on Saturday. Got it. So that's what I'm speaking to you right here tonight. If you're saying, I really can't come on Saturday, but I am interested, well, how many of you came here tonight thinking, I bet this guy has something he's going to try to sell me? How many of you said that to yourself? Really? Well, I don't want to disappoint you. Yeah. Hey, I'm not going to sell you as much as it is. I want to offer you the opportunity to train you, show you how it's done. So when we talk about this, there's two ways to do it, to learn this. One is online. We call it the Assisted Living Business Accelerator. One is online, study at home. It's all electronic. And the other way is the live training. I think by far the live training is absolutely the best way to do it. When I designed the class, it was a 3-day immersion class. I'm going to teach you everything that I know so that you can do this too. It's not, let me get you there so you have to go on to the next level, the next level, the next level. It's giving you everything you need to know in 3 days' time. But for those who can't get there to the live training, I'll show you how to do it online. But the live training is the very best way. So when I say online, what will you learn? Well, the best opportunities, where to do it, how to raise the capital, how to put it together so one deal you can be set for life. By the way, when we used to do this, we did it on DVDs. How many of you remember DVDs? Right? I don't even have a DVD player anymore, right? So the DVDs were great, but the problem was you can't update them quickly. We can't, they were printed like this and so on. But how many of you would love to have that home study course on DVD? Sure. Yeah, you would? There you go. Give you that one there. Who else would love to have that? You want one? There you go. And who else would like one? Do you like one? Ready? I'm going to throw it to you. It's like Frisbee. You did great. All right, he wants one too. I can tell he's going to jump out right here. One more. Who else you got way back there? Man, that's pretty good. Somebody over there. And then since I know you were reaching out, so I'm going to give you the box. There you go. Yeah, you guys can all syndicate and pull it all together. Now that's our old home study course, okay? That was a little joke right there, okay, just so you know. That's our old home study course. We updated it, redone it. It's completely new and different. What's included now is actually 3 courses altogether. The 3 courses are REL 101, REL Operations, and REL Business. It's laid out in over 30 lessons, 36 currently. At the end of each lesson, there's a quiz. At the end of each section, there's a test. Now, you'll pass the quiz, you'll pass the test. It's not there to complicate you or confuse you. It's there to make sure that you learn what you're supposed to learn. Got it? Take it as many times as you want. We're the ones giving it to you. We just want to make sure that you've actually learned something when you went through it. And we've done it in such a way so that you can either just watch it, or you can download it and you can listen to it like a podcast, audio, or the entire transcript is written out for you so you can read it. So you can read it, you can listen to it, or you can watch it. All 3. In addition to that, there's worksheets that go along with it. You have to go through it in order, so you have to pass that one before you go on to the next one. And when you're all said and done, by the end of it, you receive the RELA Associate Certification. You can put that on your business card, on your website. It shows that you graduated from that education. Along the way, you're going to have questions. So you can ask questions as you go. And once a month, we do a live webinar. I do it personally. I love it. Because when you ask questions, I know you're hungry, you want it, and if you don't have a question, just by being there and listening to other people's questions is incredibly valuable. So you've got, let us know anytime you have questions, just type it in, we'll respond back, and everybody gets to see the question and answer, and then the live for 6 months, you've got those webinars. Now those courses, there's 3 of them, are $4.99 each, $14.97 altogether. So the online version, the updated version is $14.97. Here, discounted to $9.97. $9.97. Now I'm going to pause for a moment. I truly wish that I had that course when I first got started. It would have saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars in real money spent and hundreds of thousands of dollars in missed opportunity. And I know some people have even tried to do this on their own, and they failed, they gave up, because they didn't know what they didn't know. So for $1,000 to learn how to do this from somebody who's done it before, is willing to show you how, to me that's incredible, but that's up to you to decide. But I have a bonus for you. One of the things that we do a lot of things educationally, but this is absolutely one of the very best educational pieces I've ever done. It's a virtual tour of 3 homes. Walking you through, no, I'm not giving this one away. Or maybe I will. A virtual tour, so it's filmed, it's me walking you through. Here's the house. Here's what we paid for it, here's the renovation we did and everything. This behind the scenes look is incredibly educational and valuable. Now I brought these for Saturday, but I gave you back there, Audrey, I think 5 of those sets right there. So anybody who gets the home study course or the 3-day training will receive that as an additional bonus, as well as a copy of the book. I gave you 5 of those as well, so I know you have those back there as well. So one bonus, the virtual home tour, the live training class. Like I said, this is the place, this is the one to do. Day one is classroom intensive. We start at 9, we go till 5, we provide dinner and lunch and so on, but it's a data dump of information. I'm there as the primary instructor, but now I have other instructors that are there with me. These are students who came through the class who now own their own homes. I showed you Lo on the screen, owns 5 homes. He's from Texas. He's one of our consultants, one of our instructors. I was on the phone with him, doing a Skype session with him today. We've got other students as well, but the bottom line is it's an entire day of training just dumping it out on you. The classroom itself is a limited size. It's not hundreds of people at a time. It's a select number of people. In that classroom itself, it is a fun atmosphere. We're there to have fun and enjoy the process as we do it. We've had partners, we've had spouses, we've had business partners, we've had kids. When I say kids, meaning age-appropriate kids, 15 to 18 years old, who want to do this with mom and dad. And I have to tell you, if you have a partner or a spouse, this may be the one. This may be the one that they're finally saying, I'm interested in this one. Because if you're like me, you're an entrepreneur and you've been doing things and your spouse is supportive, but they're still sitting there going, prove it to me, show me, follow through. And this may be the one where they're like, you know, this one makes sense to me. And a lot of times that spouse who's brought along is the one who's saying, I think this is awesome. They get more excited than the original person. So I'm just telling you that if you have that spouse, it's a lot of fun, you can enjoy the process. So it's a smaller class. Day 2 is the context for the content. This is where we get in the bus and we go out in the field and you see my homes. Nobody else would ever let you do this. Come through the home itself, meet the manager, meet the caregivers, meet the residents, go through it, point it all out, walk you through it. That live tour itself is invaluable, and it's a fun experience, but incredibly educational, so we do that as well. The bus tour is on day 2. The networking is off the chart. The class isn't free, so we have people that have paid money, invested time to be there from all over the country. Some of those relationships will be lifelong relationships you create. On day 3, we come back to the class, we talk about raising capital. I'm going to make a comment. This is the easiest thing I have ever raised capital for. I mean, if you've been out borrowing money and say fix and flip, they're like, apartments, full loans, senior housing. Tell me more. When you talk about the demographics, the baby boomers, the senior who are coming our way, there's no denying it, and people want to get into this game. At the end of that 3-day training, you're given a certification as an RALS specialist, and we'll discuss that there at that training. It's given to you in print, it's given to you online, so you can put it on your website, your business cards as well. And now we have students with homes all over the country, and it's just phenomenal to see that literally thousands of residents are in these homes that are being helped, and it's a beautiful thing. Now that class itself is $5,000 to attend, $5,000 to attend. Why do we do that? Because we don't want everybody, we just want the right people. That room itself is full, the classes are always full. January, we've got a few seats left. I actually reserved a few for the January class. I'll put that up. The next class after that is in March, and that will fill up. We have classes scheduled all the way through December. All of the classes are in Arizona, so you're going to have to come out and get warm. Enjoy yourself, right? I mean, the bottom line is that $49.97 is the price, but you know that I'm going to do a discounted price. So here it's $29.97. $29.97. I put the next 2 dates up. Those 2 dates and all the details of the where and the when and so on are on this hot pink sheet right here. It's back here with Aubrey as well. Those of you who sign up for the class, you'll receive this, all the details of the when and the where and so on. Now I know that you're recording that right now, is that right? But it's not being broadcast? So later on you edit this part out that we're about to put out. Okay? Just do it good right now, but later on you can edit this part out. Bonuses for taking action tonight or on Saturday. Those of you who are coming on Saturday. I'm laying it out here tonight so I know that you've got it and so on. Number 1, the virtual home tour. I brought the 5 tonight. I have more for Saturday, but when they do run out, they run out. It's just that simple. In addition to that, if you have a spouse or a partner that you'd like to bring, their tuition is not $29.97, it's $1,000. Bring them, absolutely. If you have a spouse and a partner, and I wanted to make sure to say that out loud so you heard that as well, Aubrey. The idea, if I've got a spouse, but I also have a business partner, you're welcome to bring them both. But it's not for somebody you just met tonight, rub knees and elbows with and say, hey, want to get married or be my partner, we'll save a few bucks. We use the BBB rule, bed, blood, or bank account. Think about it, it works. Bed, blood, or bank account. Business partner or spouse, $1,000 for that. The next one, and this is the part that you'll let it out later right here, this is just for you. Those of you here tonight and on Saturday, because You know, you guys, Ray, Landon, you guys invited me here. I appreciate that very much, to be here as a part of this group here tonight. And for those of you that are serious about doing this, you get an additional $1,000 discount. Don't call a week from now, don't call a month from now, don't call me, don't call Ray, don't even mention it. It's for those of you who take action while we're here. Very simply, that $29.97 is reduced to $19.97. You'll never see that again. It's not in print. That's why you'll edit it out. Good. Done. So, does it check your boxes? That's what you need to decide. I mean, does it really give you what you're looking for? You have a reason why you're here and what it is you're really looking for. You have to decide. Now, you know what we're going to cover on Saturday. Those of you who are not signed up for that, do get signed up for it tonight so you get your discounted price and so on. I'm going to be back on Saturday morning to do that, 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock / 3. Stay around till 3. Those of you who are not coming on Saturday, but you do want to get the home study or you do want to get enrolled for the class, even if you don't know the date, but you want to lock in that $1,000 additional discount, enroll, get there, put down the date. If you know it, if you don't, say TBD, to be determined. You'll figure it out later. So there it is. And also on Saturday, I'll share the Sir Richard Branson secret. So I appreciate you allowing me to share with you here tonight. I'll stay and answer a few questions for you, but I want to say thank you very much. We're right on time at 9 o'clock, so I want to make sure you know that as well. Thank you. I'll be with that there to take care of paperwork for everybody on Saturday, home study or the 3-day training, and again, I'll take questions. And you have been waiting patiently for about a half an hour.